Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's episode is all about a legend of a time machine on two wheels. We're diving into the world of the 1949 Royal Enfield, a motorcycle that helped define an era of post-war freedom and engineering. If you love vintage motorcycles, heritage, and raw mechanical charm, buckle up because this one's going to take you straight into the heart of the 1940s. Let's start with the basics, because even though it's vintage, this bike's legacy runs deep. This specific 1949 Royal Enfield is either a 350cc or a 500 cab. Both were released around the same time, and both were known for their rugged reliability. The 350 came with a pushrod OHV engine, air-cooled of course, producing modest power but excellent low-end torque. The 500cc was a parallel twin, one of the earliest in the British market to combine performance with endurance. These bikes were built for the road, whether that meant cruising the countryside or navigating post-war British towns. One look at the bike and you know you're dealing with a classic. That iconic teardrop fuel tank, often finished in a rich British racing green or deep black with gold pinstriping, it screams heritage. The Royal Enfield badge is proudly painted on, not stickered like modern bikes. There's chrome everywhere: the headlight casing, the exhaust, the fender sill still shining after decades if maintained right. Spoked wheels with drum brakes, a single saddle seat, and minimal bodywork make this bike look like a sculpture in motion. It's raw, simple, and full of character. And the stance. You don't sit on this bike, you sit with it. It has a tall, upright posture with just enough handlebar width to give you control without over-exaggerating anything. The frame uses a classic single down-tube design, and in 1949, Enfield introduced the swing-arm rear suspension, a huge leap for rider comfort and handling at the time. Paired with telescopic forks up front, the ride was smoother than most competitors could offer in that era. Now, when we talk about interior in a bike this old, we're really talking about the cockpit. Everything in the control area is mechanical and minimal, just the way it should be on a machine this pure. The speedometer is a classic Smith's analog dial, nestled in the headlight housing. The throttle, clutch, and brake levers feel solid metal on metal. No plastic nonsense here. Switch gear is basic: a headlight, ignition, and a horn. What more do you need? The saddle is leather or sprung vinyl, depending on how it's been restored, and it rests atop springs to cushion the rider just a bit from road imperfections. It's far from luxurious, but it's genuine. Every bump and vibration connects you to the bike. Comfort-wise, surprisingly, the 1949 Royal Enfield isn't a bone shaker like some might assume. Thanks to the telescopic forks and swing arm setup, it actually glides fairly well over rough roads for its time. The seat's small but not unbearable, and the ergonomics keep your arms relaxed and back upright. This isn't a sport bike that demands an aggressive posture. It's relaxed, like a conversation between rider and machine. The bike doesn't scream at you, it hums, thumps, and lets you enjoy the road. The vibration levels are what you'd expect from a single-cylinder machine of the 1940s. It vibrates, but not in a harsh way. It's more of a rhythmic pulse. Long-distance comfort is limited by saddle size and fuel range, of course, but for short to mid-distance joyrides, it's still very usable. If you're into weekend cruising, this bike makes every kilometer feel nostalgic. When it comes to performance, keep your expectations grounded in the era. This isn't a high-speed machine, but it has enough grunt to make every ride feel meaningful. The 350cc version can reach around 70 km/h, while the 500cc twin pushes closer to 100 km/h. Acceleration isn't aggressive, but it's linear and deliberate. The gear shifts on the old 4-speed box feel mechanical and rewarding. You need to time them well, and heel-toe shifting might be needed on some variants. Handling is surprisingly nimble. The bike feels light under you despite its classic look. At low speeds, it glides effortlessly through town. On winding roads, it leans gracefully. Just don't expect razor-sharp modern handling. It's more about the experience than the precision. Drum brakes front and rear are sufficient for the speed range, but you'll need to plan your stops. Think ahead, brake early, and enjoy the rhythm. And then there's the sound. That glorious, deep thump from the exhaust. It's music to a vintage rider's ears. It's not loud in the modern sense, but it's rich and soulful. The kind of sound that makes people turn their heads not in fear, but in admiration. A Royal Enfield never rushes. It rumbles along, dignified and unbothered. So, what's the final verdict on the 1949 Royal Enfield? Well, if you're chasing modern performance, you're looking in the wrong place. This isn't a race bike. It isn't trying to be flashy or fast, but what it ties a broken bar is timeless. It's the kind of machine that connects you to the roots of motorcycling, to a time when bikes were built to be ridden, not marketed, when engineering was elegant and form followed function. It's perfect for collectors, restoration enthusiasts, and anyone who rides for the love of it. It's not about speed, it's about soul. You can ride this bike through a small town and hear stories from strangers who grew up with one. It's a conversation starter, a nostalgia machine, and a mechanical piece of history that still works. If you ever get the chance to ride one, don't pass it up. And if you're lucky enough to own one, take care of it, because bikes like this don't come around anymore. Thanks for sticking around for this deep dive into the 1949 Royal Enfield. If you enjoyed this vintage review, give it a like, drop a comment about your favorite classic ride, and don't forget to subscribe for more History on Wheels content. We've got more rare machines and forgotten legends coming up, so stay tuned. Ride safe, and ride with heart.